You are looking live at Boca Ice Center in Boca Raton, Florida, where two teams in the penultimate and ultimate series of the regular season meet up in a College Hockey South Division matchup that has implications regionally and nationally. Hi, everybody, and welcome inside the broadcast booth ahead of Boca Ice Center from the upper stanchion. Devin Serra with you on the call tonight, solo operator again, as this College Hockey South Division matchup in Division 3 means a ton for both sides. The FAU Owls come into tonight ranked 13th nationally on the outside, looking into a 12-team field that will make AAU Nationals this year in Jacksonville, Florida, March 18th to the 23rd. And 6 of those national spots are guaranteed by conference championships with the form of auto bids. So you can really only guarantee yourself either top 6 in a conference or top 6 in the standings, and every point matters for this Division 3 team coming off an impressive rout of the Miami Hurricanes last week, winning by as much as 24-5, outscoring in both games by double digits. 13-3 win on night number 1 and 11-2 on night number 2, which Christian Cuccia eclipsed 50 points on the season. The leading scorer for the Owls this year was named College Hockey South First Star of the Week. 14 points in that series, 6 goals, 8 assists, and he added 3 goals and 7 assists in game number 1. Sam Watson also had a hat trick in that game, the first of his collegiate career. Florida, though, is on the very well outside looking in, coming into tonight 7-5, 0-0 on the year, 7-3 in the division. They are third, sitting behind this FAU team and Florida State, which both punched their tickets to the College Hockey South tournament last week. Of course, Florida State beat FAU earlier this season with a sweep, but Florida State has dropped a couple afterwards, so FAU leads just narrowly by 1 point. Florida sits there with 14 points, 4 behind FAU and 3 behind Florida State, followed up by Florida Tech, which Florida UF routed earlier this year. 5th and final spot that will make the College Hockey South tournament is USF, tied with Embry-Riddle at 8 points, followed up by North Florida with 6 points and Miami with 5 in the South Division. Of course, the other side sees South Carolina still at the top, Tennessee right behind them, ranked 13th nationally, 8th nationally. Kennesaw State in 3rd, Georgia 4th, Alabama 5th, and then Austin, PA, Eastern Kentucky, and Alabama Birmingham still without a win this year. As we get ready to turn things down to the ice, this is the pregame and start of the starting lineups and national anthem just ahead of you on the other side. But we'd like to mention tonight that FAU Division 2 taking on number 1 in the North Division, Middle Tennessee tonight. That is a huge matchup considering that FAU and Middle Tennessee share a spot in the top 10 ranked nationally. Of course, FAU at the moment that we see the ranking sits number 2 in the nation, but they could easily be number 1 with the record they've had this year. Very impressive and still riding a 13-game win streak. So be sure to follow along on GameSheet.com as well as FAU social media to keep up with the Division 2 side as they announce the starters for both teams. Andrew Yagoda in his first season, of course, needed that rebound performance against Miami after they had dropped 4 straight, dating back to Florida State, with 8-2 and 7-1 routes here at Boca, and then 2 overtime losses to Division 2, Lynn University. As both captains join at center. Captain for FAU joining with the FAU lacrosse team, the women's lacrosse team celebrating being honored tonight at center. Of course, the captain, Anthony Campagna, joining one of those ladies. And they'll bring out as many 5 at center. So they'll get a little ceremonial puck drop here honoring the FAU women's lacrosse team. Cool as that. We saw Division 2 side have an honorary puck drop 2 weeks ago against Florida Southern, where they brought out the swim team. And that men's swim team, I'll add, was in their swim trunks. I mean swim trunks, undergarment. They made it interesting, to say the least. You can check that out on FAU Hockey Socials, Instagram and Twitter to see that. But their backs have turned to us, but this one will be dropped by Anthony Campagna. Also joining him is Florida leader Xavier Morris, number 18. And this will take some considerable time as they will bring out the entire team. It's slippery out there. You don't want anybody slipping, cracking their noggin open. But pretty cool here as we get to see that intramural relationship so close here at FAU as so many teams talk with each other, know each other, whether they're the varsity level or down at the AAU level. Because I think they've got all of them. So we'll get a photo opportunity and a chance for Campagna and Xavier Morris to drop the puck. There it is. Very cool to see. We talked about the implications coming into tonight a little bit, an update on the top 25 standings in AAU top 25. Florida Atlantic ranked number 13. We mentioned top 12 will make nationals at the end of the year. As far as the College Hockey South teams go, the top spot is South Carolina at number 5 in the nation. Number 8 sees Tennessee. Those are two North teams. The top team in the South Division is Florida Atlantic. They're at 13, followed up by Georgia in the North. Florida State sits 17th. Kennesaw State, number 18. And that'll do it for the top 25 as far as College Hockey South goes. Florida is ranked 27th nationally outside the top 25. And only 2 series left on their schedule. This FAU team, number 13, and then Miami next week. Both of those road games for the Gators, and they're without some players tonight. We'll get to those stories and more as we get ready to turn things down to the ice for just a moment. Do we have audio down there? Starting lines are a little bit hard to hear. We apologize for that. But the starting lineups look like this. First for the visitor Florida Gators at defense, they'll turn to Bodie Duncan, number 90, the defenseman who's clipped 6 points on the year. Sitting alongside Nico Renton out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Had his only goal of the season last week in their 4-3 loss against the USF. They'll go with their top line tonight with the likes of Owen Farrank, a 4-game point streak coming into this one, points in 8 of the last 9. And had a couple added on in their victories against Embry-Riddle, along with their last games against South Florida. He'll be joined up with a returning Kelly Barlett, number 38, and Tristan Jungo, as we turn aside for the start of the national anthem. Beautiful rendition down at center ice. You may notice a different vantage point. Our production team at Owl TV now has that remote cam working outside the glass down at center ice, so you will be able to see all angles tonight, and a revolutionary step for this production team. So we continue on with the starting lineups. In goal for the Florida Gators is David Stenzel out of Largo, Florida. 11 games played, 6-5-0 on the year, 3.27 goals against average, .891 save percentage. For your Florida Atlantic Owls, they will turn to the top groups. Anthony Capena, the captain, will start game one along with Sam Watson at defense. Forwards look like Nick Andanowski, number 29. Also out there with him, Christian Cuccia, College Hockey South's reigning player of the week, number 1 star, along with Drew Renzi, number 7. Puck is at center from Boca Ice. The penultimate series of the season before the College Hockey South tournament is underway. First touched by the Gators out of their own zone by Nico Renton, the defenseman with this top group, flooded it through the slot area in his own zone before FAU returned it deeper. Renzi trying to backhand it in front for Antonowski. He was foiled by Kelly Barlett, and a breakout for the Gators, lost at center, given back to Sam Watson at defense. Had a hat trick in game number 1 versus Miami. 2 Florida Atlantic Owls, Cuccia and Watson, had triple goals in that game. Gators trying to set up some sort of attack in the offensive zone. Tristan Junga gave it back to Renton at the point. Shot it on net, sticked aside, first time, second try. Good couple of saves for Matthew McMillan, playing in his 4th straight game tonight for FAU. 8-1-1 on the year, .325 goals against average. Here comes FAU back to the zone, and they score! Christian Cuccia picks up where he left off. The Owls strike first at the top of the minute. At exactly the 1 minute mark, Cuccia goes all the way around Stenzel's left pad and stretches it out. What an impressive goal by the Flemington, New Jersey native. His 19th goal of the season, his 51st point on the year, and not to mention he's riding a 4-game point streak. So FAU, just like they did against Miami, taking it to him early. Look out, McMillan had to sprawl because he had a Dylan Morton defenseman bearing down on his pads, and we didn't get to talk about McMillan before I was, well, proudly interrupted by an FAU goal. But 3.25 in the year, .889. McMillan has been terrific. 2-0-1 in his last 4 games. Of course, had that overtime loss against Lynn, but he's been saving 30-plus in consecutive games dating back to the early part of the season. And for a guy that isn't as big as some others in net, he flies around. He's been, of course, keeping Miami off the board, only allowing 5 on the weekend to the Hurricanes. Here come the Owls back to the attacking zone. Lozariadis stopped on a dime, waited for help coming on the left side, threw it in front for Rothamich, bounced off a Gator skate in front of the net, tied up to the, looked like it was going to the far corner, comes back to the opposite corner. Lozariadis to a hard angle. He's snuffed out, taken away by Jacobson Tarlis, and here come the Gators with a break up the middle. Stick handling, trying to get through was Tyler Stevens. He got worked over on a 2-on-1, rather opposite 1-on-2. FAU back the other way. Defended well by Colby Azaretto. Took the puck away, gave it up to Jacob Santarlis, who will go off a dump and change as FAU, or rather the Gators, are making wholesale line changes. Nick Meester out of Tinley Park, Illinois, touches it. He's got Drew Renzi bearing down, gives it back to his defenseman and Aiden Riley for a moment. The Gators, with a little bit of unusual lineup, more defensemen than they have forwards tonight. Talked to head coach Stephen Kay before. They have as many as 8 or 9 forwards. Not very common, you see, on a team that's mostly made up of 4 forward lines and 2 or 3 pairs of defensemen. Gators trying to get over center, start an attack. Nick Mistro will dump it in. Wraps around the end boards. McMillan puts the puck in its tracks, gives it back to his forward group, so they'll start to break out. Up left wing, getting past the defense for a moment, wide. Cutting inside for a moment, Buccigross tried to feed it up to Lozariadis. From the point, slap shot by Carabulo went wide and touched up by Azaretto. Lost handle of it. Taken away by FAU once more. To the right wing. Renzi got poke checked on the play. Nice stick in the blade by Ferrick. Give it up. Duncan will go over the red line, and some more changes go on for this UF group that has felt the pressure now. On one shot, David Stenzel gives up the opening tally at exactly the 1 minute mark to Christian Cuccia. Renzi, the lone man, into the zone. Takes a shoulder from Renton. Knocked down to the ice. Morton for the Gators frees up Zelensky, who takes head first into the boards. A nice check made out by Conero. And a couple of FAU players out tonight. They're without as many as 5 on my roster sheet. Hill, Petito, Gorelick, Malcolm, and Jensen. The most notable one of those guys probably sees Austin Hill, who's been a steadier defenseman for them throughout the season. Of course, you never want to lose Sam Jensen as well, the Moni, Illinois native. FAU gets it out of the zone. They'll wrap it around the end boards all the way down. That puck flurries back to the trapezoid of FAU's end. Intercepted for a moment by a Gator. Taken back by Anthony Campagna. The captain drops it off. Moriarty lost it between his legs. Junga wants to clear it out through the hands of Conero, and he's going to retreat back. Has a man bearing down on him. Kelly Barlett tries to get it free. Gives it up. D to D they go. FAU doing a good job using the spacing, backing up this UF defense, which hasn't shown a whole lot of aggressiveness, playing mostly from the center blue line out to their own zone, or their own blue line, rather. Blocked up. Ferrick. David back. Shot from the point. Easy save by Stenzel. Kick to the corner. Junga through his wickets. Comes back to Ryan Weissman, defenseman out of Glen Ridge, Illinois. A couple of Illinois guys. We're talking about Sam Jensen out from Moni. The guy in for them, Weissman, his last point. It's been a while for a lot of these UF skaters. This is a team that doesn't put a ton of points on the board. Just 51 goals on the season, plus 12 differential. And boating one of the best penalty kill groups in the country we'll talk about in a moment. Owen Ferrick skates alone over the red line. Dropped it off to Barrett. Had no help coming as this team was changing. Campagna twirls around. Gives it to an open man through the slot. One-touch pass and a nice save by Stenzel with the right pad. As it gets through once more, and once a Stenzel down and out for just a moment. Thought it was going to go under his right pad and through. And some big saves as UF is just getting hauled down in their own zone. A big hit laid out. Barrett paid the price as Christian Cuccia, the alternate captain, decked him to the ice. It's all FAU right now. No time to waste. They're up 1-0 at the first minute from Cuccia. And looking for a steal was Lozeritis. Aiden Riley finds some space. We'll give it right back. And again, it's just FAU doing what they want. But we might have the first penalty of the game. We do. It's going to be on the Owls. For contact to the head area. So Joseph Lozeritis took out a UF player up high, finishing the check on the far side of the ice. It means with 13:40 to go in the first period, UF is going to go to their first power play of this night. They are 11 goals on the year with the man advantage. Again, we talked a little bit about their scoring woes, and FAU boasts one of the highest penalty totals in the country, now sitting at 218. That's second most in College Hockey South. But here they come shorthanded. They've got Rothamich with Lopes down the middle, and he sent it on net. Left pad stop. Stenzel saw it the whole way. He didn't go back across the Lopes. UF back to the attack, trying to open up Nico Renton on the far corner, and a nice defensive play by an Owl on the far wing. And UF, who hasn't registered more than 2 shots on goal through the first 6 minutes, FAU has done that and a whole lot more against Stenzel. 2 players collide at this near corner. Duncan and Lopes going at it. Lopes has himself hooked for a moment by Duncan. Behind the play, though, they'll get back to it. McMillan from behind the net saucers it way out of the zone. And FAU has killed off the first minute of this power play. Still without a shot are the Gators. From the trapezoid, Junga forwards it along for Kelly Bartlett. Lost handle of it, dropped it back with Junga. He gets over the right wing, and it looks like UF with an infraction. They take down a Owl at the far blue line. You saw on your screen Sam Carozzo trying to play the puck, and an inadvertent player. And I thought they were going to give a penalty to UF right there for possible tripping, as the way Carozzo fell was kind of awkward, a little backward. They're going to rule this offside on the Gators. Okay. From the blue line, it's dumped in by Weissman. Getting to it is Bartlett. Weissman will walk with it now from the paint. Gives it up left side through the middle. Shot never got there. Now backhand from his knees. They score. Oh my goodness. Owen Farrick. Actually, that's Quinn Hitchcock with a marvelous move from his knees. This puck from the right side was initially shot by Farrick, never got through, and then from one knee down, Hitchcock just backhanded it blindly past the blocker side of McMillan, and UF has their first goal on the power play. As Hitchcock from Swampscott, Massachusetts, has his third goal of the season. The former captain of that high school with a dandy goal to put the Gators on the board, where it's been all FAU nearing the halfway mark of the first. Bounces around FAU slot area. They got to get going again because FAU needs to find a way to stymie some of that momentum. Nice passes through the middle. Campagna just a little too far away from it. Drew Renzi set him up. He's carrying the puck behind. Campagna from point blank, stopped by Stenzel, and the weak side cleared out by the Gators. They'll dump and go, where Moriarty is going to retrieve it back in the FAU zone. That goal is the 12th power play goal of the season. That's bottom half of College Hockey South, but we talked about the penalty minutes. So many for this FAU squad that, despite having, in many ways, superior talent goal-scoring-wise, plus 66 goal differential on the year. That's top 3 in College Hockey South. They sit in the opposite end where they give up these penalties, and it leads to chances like that one. So, a huge goal and a dandy. Put that one in your Sports Center top 10 by Hitchcock. We get a face-off in the FAU zone. Lozeritis in this top group back out for the Owls against the starting line in the top group for Florida. With Dylan Morton to dig in for the Gators. Carozzo jumped the circle. For that, they're going to send him in. Nope, now they'll send him back. Won by the Gators from the point. Duncan, slap shot, intentional miss. Looking for the bank on the far wing. McMillan, first stop, up for grabs at the top of the right circle. FAU gets the turnover through, but we've got an arm up and a delayed penalty. It's going to be interference. And once again on FAU. So interference the call. And now for the second time within as many minutes, the Owls have to go back to the kill. And it's from Connor Moriarty. So Moriarty to the box. 1 for 1 is UF in this game. Their 12th of the campaign. And all of a sudden now, Matthew McMillan looks like he's going to have to do a good job. That FAU group did such a nice job in the first minute of their kill, not allowing a single shot from UF, but it took that one rush opportunity up the right wing where they had sort of a bouncing puck through the middle, found by Hitchcock, that squeaked past the blocker side of McMillan. A dandy goal. But here comes the Owls back to the kill. Scott Herman, a nice play at the corner wall. Bartlett decked to the ice. Hard by, for a moment I thought that might have been Cunero. It was Lopes. Back into the attack from the right wing in. Renton put it through the middle, intended on the far wing, but stolen away by Campagna. The captain will send it the length of the ice from the half board. It reaches all the way to Stenzel, and he'll forward it along where Renton's waiting for it. Up for Duncan, intercepted by Kotze. Kotze has a lone break in. Farrick, the lone man, to take him off the puck, and the Owls force Stenzel to glove up with 58 to go in the second power play. And an inadvertent pass, and a lot of times now that's UF has been caught in those scenarios where they've kind of had a soft pass looking to get through the middle and go cross ice, and an FAU player is there. It was just a nice job by Lopes to really just get in side positioning, and Lentz along with Kotze. So back come the Gators the other way. Stevens couldn't handle the pass from Centarlis, gets all the way to Buccigross, who will heel it off the glass. Kept in by, for a moment, Weissman. Up the half wall. Open space for Campagna. He'll just dump and clear. And back down goes Hitchcock, the only goal scorer so far for the Gators. Nearly pickpocketed. Kotze's in there, defending it well. 22 to go on the interference penalty to Connor Moriarty. Stevens out of his near half board. Hitchcock retreats. Kotze, the lone man dogging him up the right wing. Got it for Stevens. Tried to go cross ice, intercepted off the bench, shorthanded. Here come the Owls the other way. That's Renzi trying to get inside. He was well defended that time by Renton. Out of the box comes Moriarty, replaced by Cuccia. And now a race for it, a diving effort made by Lopes. Never got to the puck. Gave it up at center ice, where the Owls will retreat. Strum heads back in. Stick check by Centarlis. Riley evades him. Another man, Centarlis, missed the pass. Watson and Strum connect. Opposite corner, met up by Cuccia. Given back. Rosenthal is there. And now UF will make some more changes as he goes in alone against Buccigross behind the net. Has a man down the middle racing in. And Morton takes it to the corner. Xavier Morris couldn't find it under his wickets, and FAU forces the clear. So 8:03 to go in this first period. We're tied at 1. FAU outshooting the Gators and outchancing them a number of times, but even though David Stenzel let up the first goal to Cuccia, he's settled in now. Owls not done. Through the middle, Watson looking for the one-timer, trying to go short side. I don't think he ever got the shot off. It was a little bit of a fan. Rosenthal from his own trapezoid reverses field. Cuccia pushed away by Morris, and Morris wins that battle over. He might be forcing the icing, though. If this gets to the trapezoid, officials call it off. It allows the Gators to get wholesale bodies. Cole Wench, first time we said his name tonight, coming in. The former Tampa 92's junior player threw with a stick on the right wing. A shot never got through onto McMillan. Restro, the Gators cycle it lower. Caught by Herman. He'll find some open ice with Carabalo, and they're out. FAU back to the attack. Drops it for Drew Renzi. Renzi goes crosses field. One-timer blast. Caught the shoulder of Renzo and out of play. And just like that, FAU with some narrow opportunities to score, although for a minute there it was 50-50 play. Neither side could really gain a whole lot of control through the center ice. And the way UF has really been cycling these lines, they've been majorly going with this top group, the likes of Owen Farrick, who's riding that 4-game point streak. Lost handle of it for a moment, still loose in the upper part of the slot. And Junga, who's been terrific for them all year, also on a 4-game point streak, gets it out of the zone. The Central Florida Hockey Club native, as many as 5 former Central Florida alumni from that club joining this team, gives you an idea of where the pool of players come from for this Division III AAU Florida team. And Moriarty touched up, but there's going to be another penalty coming, and they're going to get Andanowski for a infraction in the right circle. This would be the third penalty on FAU in the last 10 minutes. And for a high stick. 3 different owls go up and 3 go down. Andonovski, number 29, will sit for the high stick penalty. And again, the problem that's been with this FAU team has just been the penalties, giving a team opportunity to get a man up and put one on net like they try to do here. Good block in front off the stick of Renton. Now Duncan has it back, reverses from the point. Bartlett will put it deeper. Stick tapped away by Watson. He'll battle him in that near corner. Bounce pass up to Duncan. Gets it to his D partner on the opposite wing with Renton. Renton and Duncan looking for space. They have it through the middle. One touch. McMillan down. Where's the puck? Stopped on the right pad and kicked to the near corner. McMillan with a nice stop using the skate blade. Now Duncan has it back. Bartlett, inadvertent backhand off the leg of Watson. Skating wide with it is Renton behind the trapezoid. Put it in front. Bartlett wasn't ready. Moriarty defending. Bartlett lost handle. Moriarty skies it up the glass. Up and out. Hopped over the stick of Duncan back, and he has to retreat. A minute gone in this third power play of the night for I almost said FAU again. Florida. They are 1 for 2. Hitchcock, the only goal scorer on that first power play, off the bench. Takes away Cuccia, the lone attacker, shorthanded. Junga skates it deeper. Cut off by Buccigross on the angle. And it's dumped out once more, circling their own end boards. Good job by FAU's defensive unit to get in sync there. Here's Buccigross. Chases after UF's Weissman, who gets it at the blue line. They might have a call for a hand pass. It is. As Justin Lopes catches up with the linesman for a moment. And they'll bring this puck back over their UF blue line. 4:56 to go in this first period. We're knotted at 1 from a tale of 2 players. Christian Cuccia, his 51st point of the season at the first minute. First shot, first goal. Followed up by Quinn Hitchcock on the power play, his 3rd of the year. Nice job racing in was Connor Strum for FAU to bank it off the half wall of Stratford, New Hampshire. 10 seconds left in the UF power play before Andonovski is out of the box. Andonovski, is out of the box for his interference penalty. So there it is. 1 for 3 goes UF in this first period. Now Rothmich back to the attack. Morton, nice defensive play, number 12. Tried to return feed it through the middle. He'll get it back now. He'll slap it along opposite wing. Morris, dump and chase, trying to get fresh lines out. Mistro, Centarlis, as the captain for FAU's UF's comes off. Got to get that right. That's Xavier Morris for the Gators. Nick Mistro of Tinley Park, Illinois, finds it over the penalty circle. 2 players collide and get down and opens a lane up for Strum. Takes one on net, in and out of the glove of Stenzel. Tried to go top shelf over him. Stevens gets it back with a race. An odd man rush if they hurry. Stevens gets it deflected wide of the goal. Bounces near McMillan, ultimately wide. Slap shot from a hard angle, misses. Bounces off the end board, up this near wall. A flurry of players fight 2-on-2 for it. Tied up, Mistro gets it free. Will keep it deeper. Raced in. Colby Azaretto of Westfield, New Jersey, trying to free up some space. And given back to the Owls with a clear will be Andrew Rothmich. Rather than clear it, he held it for a moment, tried to forward it along for Nicholas Pecora. He got it stolen. The Gators, some open ice to work. Defensive work by Buccigross back as he came off the bench and into the field of play. So Renton has to go back and tag with Morton. Stretch pass doesn't connect, and that's going to be an inadvertent icing on the Gators. They were looking for Azaretto at center ice. Getting a little over-eager. Credit to Florida, sort of weathering the storm that was the first 5 minutes, all FAU. And they've created some opportunities, of course, with those 3 power plays. It hurts FAU's opportunity for that forecheck to get going, which has had such a good, outstanding string of whether you call it prowess or might this last couple weeks. They had that tough game, those 2 tough games against Florida State, only knotted 3 goals, outscored 15-3 in that series. Came back, scored 8 against Lynn. They only lost in 2 overtime games. It got a little chippy at the end of those with some fights breaking out. And then just demolished Miami, 13-3, 11-2 last week. And a pair of hat tricks for Sam Watson and Christian Cuccia on night 1 kept that score going. Here's Carabello. Renzi chases after Renton, gives it up, dumped the length of the ice by Duncan for Winch. And McMillan doesn't like what he sees, and he'll glove it, and look out, 2 players crash in front of McMillan. That goaltender is going to take exception to that, but an inadvertent skate-in, as I believe it was Renton just trying to beat a man to the puck as McMillan came out, sort of paddled the puck to his glove, picked it up, and the UF forward crashed into him, so no worse for wear. I don't blame McMillan for getting mad in that situation, not seeing what happened before that play. Nonetheless, face off to the left circle. Dylan Morton, we've said his name a lot, out of Orlando, Florida. Left wing shot by Winch, saved easily by McMillan, and we'll redo it. And this FAU group has now seen a fair amount of shots from this UF group, albeit not as many quality chances. Say it's unofficially 4-2 in favor of FAU. Shot from the point once again, scooped by McMillan off the blade of Bodie Duncan. Will flip ends for the face-off dots. And another strength of FAU this year has been their ability to win those face-offs at crucial times, get pucks cleared out, especially on their penalty kills. And despite the penalties that they've taken this year, they've only allowed now 20 on the season. Some teams are at 20 plus with half as many penalty minutes as this FAU group. Tells you a little bit about their two-way play. So Winch tries to connect with Morton, foiled by Watson at center, given back. Zelensky will tag. Up left wing, forward and long for Junga. Skates along into the FAU zone, circling through the middle. Moriarty finds some open ice, takes it on Stenzel, picks up his own rebound, left pad, right pad stop, still on the ice, sprawling, backhanded through the slot, and bounces. 3 marvelous stops with the right pad of goaltender David Stenzel. FAU crashing hard in the net with 1 minute to go in the period. Cuccia finds a lane to the middle from Lozeritis. Back at the point, Moriarty keeps the play alive through the legs of Watson. He got knocked down by Junga. Cuccia's there behind, lost handle, taken over by Duncan. Just looking to tap it along the red line. They will, and Moriarty goes back. That was as good, if not better, than the flurry of shots they took on Stenzel that first 5 minutes of the period. Cuccia and Moriarty getting their looks. Here's a chance from the right circle, deflected wide. FAU, 20 to go in the period. Cuccia connects with Kotze, trying to get Stenzel. Forward away. Coniero missed the net of the right post. Behind the half boards. Up to the point. 10 seconds to go in the period. Shot comes, deflected by Coniero off the paddle of Stenzel. Trying to stuff it short side with 2 seconds to go. 1 second left. FAU will pin it behind the net, and that is going to do it. So David Stenzel saves the Gators from another FAU lead to hit the break. Kotze and Cuccia and Moriarty trying to answer, but it's 1-1 as the Owls survive the flurry of power plays, and that'll do it for 20 minutes. We'll step aside for another 15 and get you back here from Boca. You're watching this college hockey South Division matchup, the penultimate series for FAU on Owl TV. Both teams rejoining the ice for the start of the second period, knotted at 1 apiece in this college hockey South Division matchup. Number 1 and number 3, FAU and Florida, go head-to-head, and in that one, it felt like a head-to-head finish in that period. FAU's lone goal scored by Christian Cuccia at the top of the first minute, exactly on a nice feed up the left wing. Got it around the right pad of David Stenzo, who's been tested a lot. He stopped 13 of 14 so far in this one, half of those quality scoring chances. But otherwise, it's been Florida with half of this game on the power play. They had 3 chances, 1 for 3 total in that period. The lone one was Quinn Hitchcock, who made a highlight reel goal from his knees, roofed it past the blocker's side of Matthew McMillan, who's also been solid, 8 of 9 so far in this one. As we rejoin the fold, Devin Serra with you from Boca Ice Center here in Boca Raton. This is where FAU will call home for the final 3 games from their season, this being the final series. Next week they'll take on Embry-Riddle for the final regular season game. Meanwhile, Florida, this is their penultimate series against FAU tonight and tomorrow, and then at Miami's place at Kendall Ice Center, home of the Hurricanes, who have been struggling this year in Division III. Reigning national champions at that level, but they moved up to D2. And it's going to be a penalty once again on Andonovski and FAU. Just as we talked about, the second highest penalty getting team in AAU is going to go back to the box, and it's the repeat offender who was sitting the last time for a high stick. So Andonovski, I believe they got him for a cross-checking because he knocked down his opposing man from behind. It means as we switch sides of the ice, Florida will shoot going left to right on McMillan. It hasn't been too tested, especially on rebound opportunities. It's been McMillan's strength all season. The fact that he doesn't allow second and third chance crashes to the net. As we dig in for this second period draw, Carozzo slapped it up the glass. Swapping hands is UF. Back to the power play. Renton up this right side, takes a look. Gives it for Duncan. Left side shot. In and out of the hands of McMillan. Kicked out to Renton at the middle of the right circle. Junga pinned up against this board in the right corner. Reverses for Barlett. Back up to Duncan. Doing a good job quarterbacking this power play. Renton looking for the tip from Junga. Short side. Bounce it off the right iron. Once, twice. Stopped by McMillan. Renton thinks about it. Takes it off the chest protector and out to the far corner. Junga keeps the cycle alive. McMillan having to come up big as his first minute is over with. Moriarty now. Where Owen Farrick, one of the leading scorers on this Florida team, 19 points on the year, puts it to a soft spot. Net has been off for a while, and now the official in the corner, near corner, finally stops play. Sometimes you see that when a team has an attacking opportunity on the net, and what really all that would matter is a player crashing. I don't know why they waited so long, but regardless, they'll slide the right point back in a conversation with McMillan. And sometimes that is also possession-based. If FAU was holding that puck, they probably would have called that a little bit quicker. Nonetheless, 1:03 to go for Andonovski's assumably cross-check, although we'll get confirmation on that in a second. Lozariadis to dig in with it against Rosenthal. Rosenthal won it back. They'll play it up the far glass. Renton takes a spin with it. Carozzo defends him well through the legs of Lopes. Up to the point, slap shot, high circle. Nearly kicks off Campagna's skate. Wide of the goal. Past the right point, and he's going to be the one to clear it. Back out to center. And retreating is Bodie Duncan for UF. Forwarded along. The stretch pass connects for Morton. Morris on the opposite wing. Short side chance. Saved by McMillan. Off the end board. Morton tags back up with Hancock, the only goal scorer. Rather, Hitchcock for UF. Look for the deflection on Morris. Easy stick save by McMillan. Through the slot. Weissman back to the point. It's been an effective power play so far for UF. As many as 4 or 5 shots. But they've only got 10 seconds left. Carozzo through the legs of Morris. Morton now. And Lopes steals. in through the glove of Hitchcock, and he'll retreat. Andonovsky to the bench. On comes Drew Renzi for him, and 1 for 4 is UF's power play on the night against one of the top penalty-getting teams, and Renzi nearly took out a man and looking to backhand it to an opposing Andrew Rothamich. Well defended that time by Jacob Santarlis. Through the middle zone, Rothamich takes a push from Santarlis. In and out of the hands of Weissman. Weissman with 2 FAU players digging towards him. Clean sweep with this corner. Banks around the end board. Opposite corner now. Renzi meets up with Weissman again. Stopped under the skate of Weissman. Rothamich is there. Renzi comes in to provide support. Has an open look. Wanted to get it in front where a patient Nicholas Pecoro was waiting. 2 players collide behind the net. Some one-on-one matchups stymieing the progression of this puck. And really, FAU, besides that one, and they get the rebound chance. They score. Kicked off the right pad of Stenzel in. And the rebound put home. 2-1 FAU. Pecora gets rewarded. We called his number earlier. He was waiting patiently on a return feed, and he gets rewarded on that one, and the Owls have the lead back. Goal at the 2:29 mark. The 11th of the season for the Sewanee, Georgia native. 6 games with FAU Division II last year. He only had 1 assist, and now he's got double-digit goals and 23 points on the year unofficially. Some impressive marks for a guy that has done all the right things. That one is into the pocket of McMillan. Stopped, and the net came off for a moment. They'll have to reset it. But really, that's been the aforementioned ability of FAU to stick with the play, to keep the cycle going and alive. And that time, because of their hard work against the boards, beating those one-on-one battles for possession of the puck, it leads to opportunities like that. Pecora gets a rebound chance given up by Stenso. Now delayed penalty coming up on Florida. This will be the first power play for the Owls tonight. And skating disappointingly to the box is Nick Mistro. Mistro will sit for a trip. And here we go. We've been talking about when is FAU's ever powerful power play with 16 on the year going to get their opportunity. And one storyline we didn't talk about because we didn't have the chance to is how powerful this UF penalty kill is. Listen to this one, folks. Only 1 registered power play goal allowed from the Gators this entire season. The fewest in College Hockey South, and that's one of 3 teams with only 1 power play goal allowed in the nation. This is a very good penalty kill group by UF, led by head coach Stephen Kay. But here comes Drew Renzi trying to do something about it. Skates to the outside, gives it up. Watson, give and go, cycles it high to low. On the right side, Cuccia waits, gives it back to Carabolo with the point. Now Cuccia takes a look, one-timer, scores! Andrew Rothamich says, here you go. 1 for 1 on the power play. It's 3-1. Cuccia took all of the defensemen's eyes away. All 4 guys of FAU looking at Cuccia. Nobody picks up the man sitting in the middle in that bumper spot. And it's Rothamich putting it home. His 6th goal of the season from Pembroke Pines, Florida, gives FAU their 17th. And now Gators have allowed their 2nd power play goal of the year. And I think that's accurate. It's talked to both their head coach and the stats online. So regardless, an impressive one allowed as FAU, just like that, They've been like this all season long. Even though they give up those opportunities, they are so powerful as a team that's explosive. And look out, we had a collision behind the FAU net by Morton, number 12. And it'll go all the way back. I presume this was an icing, as Morton tried to beat it out. So it's going to be Gators taking a face-off in their own zone, and Lozeritis in the second group back out there along with Drew Renzi. Just one opportunity is all they needed to stymie this Gator group that hung tough. It was 14-9 shots in favor of FAU at the end of the first. And since then, the Gators, with that most recent power play opportunity, which they didn't score on, got a little bit closer. Rosenthal, nifty hand moves, give and go. Hitchcock to Morton, trying to find it under his sleeve. Will push it deeper. Carabello defends Xavier Morris, the captain, well. A tie up in that far corner. Squirts free to Lozeritis. The opposite wing, push it ahead for Carozzo. Scoops it back to himself. Wings it along. Blockered by Stenzel, even though it was going wide anyway. Xavier Morris evades pressure. Herman says, I'm coming in. A sliding play by an FAU player down on the ice. Gets back up to his feet. That was Sam Carozzo. FAU wearing their salmon pink flamingo, or I almost said flamingo. They pretty much are flamingo. Palm tree look tonight. I will admit, they are beautiful. Although I've said it once, and I'll say it just once more. They are a little bit difficult to read sometimes. This one is Connor Moriarty. That's clear as day. He wears number 48. Sam Watson back to retreat. Stretch pass, foiled. First time by Aiden Riley. Riley puts one on net. Stenzel, first try, gave up the rebound, and it's sent away over the blue line. That was dangerous. Now Stenzel, as good as he's been in his crease at those first looks, he's given up a lot of juicy rebounds that has allowed FAU to continue to play along and create more dangerous opportunities here. Centarlis winds up, and he caught a piece of McMillan. Thought for a moment it went off the right side of the goal. McMillan did make the stop. Watson through the legs of an Florida defender. UF, that is. I'll get it right at some point. Carozzo from the point. Stenzel, pad save on the left side. Another try from a hard angle. Sent along. Moriarty keeps the play alive. He'll skate deeper with it now. Puts it through the middle, and it's knifed along by two Gators out of the zone. This one will come back. Icing is waved off. Cuccia with Winch off the bench. Gives it back to his partner in Campagna. Lozeritis worked over by Morton. This one being Dylan Morton with Winch. Chased after by Campagna. Zelensky behind the net, short side, up for grabs in the slot, and taken out by Cuccia and a host of others. Lozeritis, Renzi goes opposite, left wing. Cuccia back to the attacking zone, through the middle, through the legs of Renzi, bounced off a Gator defender, and now at the center, stolen, taken away by Connor Strum, who'll get it deep once more. Half wall dump in, off the legs of Strum, given to Buccigross. Third line out here for FAU. And we've got a penalty coming up, and it's going to be for too many men. I thought Gators touched up that puck at the blue line. And it is a penalty on the Gators. It's Cole Winch going to the box, and I'm waiting for a signal, but I would say that's too many men as the far official came in from the blue line, put his hands up, and it is too many men. So Winch is going to serve the penalty, and Florida, who gave up a power play goal just moments ago to Andrew Rothamich, is back to the kill. Too many men. Shot from the high slot. Went through a couple of legs. Up and out of the zone. Up this near wing by Nico Renton. So Campagne, the captain, resets his group. He'll join a rush. Watson ahead of him. Skates along with it. Waits for his numbers. Rothamich is waiting at the point. He'll cycle it along. put it to the opposite point. A look from the point. Rothamich, most recent scorer. Campagne, give and go. Watson takes a look, scores! Sam Watson! A bullet, high corner on Stenzel, puts the Owls in a controlling 4-1 lead in back-to-back power play goals. Time of the goal, 8 minutes and 52 seconds. And we now have 3 of the 5 goals in this game on the power play, 2 in favor of the home team. And boy, that's an impressive one from a group that just had Florida pinned back in their own zone, leaving at least one man to take the shooter, that being the goaltender in Stenzel. And when you cover up the rest of the guys, you leave a versatile scoring group like that open. Watson finishes it, his 6th of the season out of Delaware, Ohio, as the lights here dim for just a moment. Still not back up. The lighting situation apparent as we have a timeout on the Florida bench by Steve Kay in his first season with the Gators, an alumni of Elmira College, NCAA. Spent some time and had a chance to catch up before the game, told me about his time. Spent as many as 12 years over in Europe playing professional hockey in Britain and Sweden. Had a chance to move around and coach some minor league hockey. And found his way into an opportunity. He's from Jacksonville, coaching this UF team that plays out of Jacksonville and Community First Igloo, host of this year's AAU Nationals and the home team for all of AAU Florida hockey as they host as many as 3 programs, a women's, 2 men's, Division I, reigning national champions at Division II. They beat the Division II Owls in the national championship game. Of course, FAU trying to capture their first national title as a program. Here's a shot from the top of the left circle, blocked in front by Danny McGuigan. First time we've said his name tonight. The defenseman out of Palm City, Florida. Gives it back, taken by Carabello. He's chased after, up left wing. Gets by 2 Gator defenders. Cross-ice pass. Cunero thought he was going to take it. It's intended. Up this right wing with Lopes. Now McGuigan. Give and go back. Through the right side. This being the 4th line. Rare opportunity for FAU. And a chase after by Scott Herman. Retreats. Morton at the blue line. Nice keep in, but nobody ready for it in particular. Try to get it to Xavier Morris, his captain. Here's Carabello. Off the blue line dump in. Was won by the race with FAU, which negated the icing. We've got a penalty coming up here for holding. It's going to be, I believe, on FAU. But who's going to sit? Four to 1 Owls, back-to-back power play goals, but they've done a good job on the penalty kill, foiling Florida to a 1-for-4 mark, but 2 minutes going to sit. Back to the power play goes the Gators. 1-for-4 on the night. They had the opening power play tally from Quinn Hitchcock, middle part of the first. But since then, they have been stymied. They have not gotten their rush chances going, and a lot of that has been steals like this. Shorthanded. Here come the Owls back the other way. Through the middle. One-touch look for Nicholas Pecora. Already a goal in this one. had the go-ahead to make it 2-1, but that time just too far away from him. Sam Carozzo playing the hound dog here, trying to keep away Florida's attackers. He does for a moment. Nico Renton is still stymied. Look at this effort right now by the shorthanded kill of FAU. That's Carozzo having one heck of a shift. Sam Carozzo out of Roslyn Heights, New York, doing it all and still getting involved in the play. The Gators have to dump the puck deeper. That gives it to Moriarty, who's going to say thank you and dump it the length of the ice back to Stenzel. This UF power play that looked so good at the start of the period as FAU's Nick Andonovsky, as that one swallowed by McMillan, took back-to-back penalties the first minute, and McMillan was tested as many as 4 or 5 times. Gators just couldn't get to the puck first on a lot of the rebound opportunities, and it allowed McMillan to get reset, sort of post up and challenge those shooters and make life tough. And ever since that point, UF has not had a forecheck of any kind, and this one is dumped the length of the ice, slap shot it along by Justin Lopes. Still alive at center. Duncan trying to take it away at the opposing blue line. Lozaritis lost handle. Duncan finds some open space. 30 seconds to go in this power play. The Gators still without an official shot. Weissman, one touch, in and out of the pads, and now gobbled up into the protection of McMillan. Nice little move to catch it off of his stick and into his glove. 7:48 to go in the period. 22 left in the man advantage. And this one's sent deeper. Florida trying to open up space. It's Hitchcock to the right wing. Weissner tried to put it through the middle. Negated by Buccigross. From the trapezoid. Up this left side of the ice. No tag. Trying to tee up Watson was Owen Farrick. And out of the box is Lentz. 1 for 5 goes UF. This one went through a couple of bodies. Wide of goal. Opposite field. Corralled. Up to the point. Shot on net. Deflected. Score! Through the 5-hole of McMillan. Owen Farrick tipped it. So the Gators, after being foiled on that power play, get on the board again. And they've cut the deficit to 2. It was only a matter of time, really, for the man with a now 5-game point streak, 5 goals in his last 5, and 12 points to add. The Jacksonville Beach native has points in all but 2 games this year. He had been previously stifled against Florida State in their loss, and then the opening game of the season, Embry-Riddle, 4-2, they won. The Gators did. And for Farrick, the Central Florida Hockey Club alumni, made a nice move in front of the net. It went right through the pads of McMillan. So the Gators, let's see if they take some of that momentum and rally it to a forecheck. Talked about that was really the one time this entire period they've looked like an offensive unit. They've been mostly in their own zone. FAU trying to see something about it. Cuccia now makes a nice move, trying to get inside, gets held up for a moment, no call. Dump it off, give it back to Aaron Lentz. Lentz reverses field. Cuccia with some open ice. From the point, Carozzo will feed it to him lower. Tries to cut inside to the net. Thought about wrapping it around, keeps to the outside. Back up to the Carozzo. Takes a look, slap shot, saved by Stenzel. Bounces, far corner, 1-on-1. Sam Watson pushes his man ahead. Lentz flooded over his stick to a Gator defender, and from his own slot will send it the length of the ice. But an icing is enforced. 6:01 to go in the period. Owen Farrick has the tip goal from the point. And just a UF group that, although they haven't scored a lot, their head coach, Steve Kai, told me about that they are an opportunistic group. They're not a team that takes a lot of shots. They don't score a whole lot, especially having one of the lowest goal totals in college hockey South, but because they're such a defensively sound team, They're opportunistic when they need to be. It's part of the reason why they're over 500 on the year, despite having the lowest games played among all College Hockey South teams, along with Georgia, Eastern Kentucky, and North Florida with 12. Part of the reason for that is they play up in Jacksonville, away from a lot of teams. There's a couple more teams in the South region than there are in the North, relatively speaking. Of course, you have Georgia, Eastern Kentucky, Tennessee, Central Florida, but otherwise it's kind of hard to get out to locations and make that 3 or 4 hour trek if you're a team that, like this Division III squad, doesn't always travel their players. They're without a lot of their roster tonight. They'll have a different look tomorrow. They only brought 18 skaters, not including the goalies, so no room for error or any scratches as FAU gets back to the attack against this Gator defense that I've mentioned. Although they give up a lot, they sure do have a good system for at least getting the puck out in transition. But for now, it's FAU. Keeps the line. Lozoritis, nice play through his legs. Gave it up, however, to a Gator defenseman, and Nico Renton, one of the starters out there. The top line back out for the Gators. Now Carabello makes a nice move, stops on a dime, cross ice to the far right circle. Up for grab at the half wall. Slapped around a number of times. Freed up by Tristan Junga. Up and out as Renzi couldn't hold the blue line, so they'll call it an offside. Some pushing, some shoving. Renzi takes one up high. That's Junga over there taking exception, along with his partner Owen Farrick. Is the most recent goal. Let's see if they assess anything, and they are. There's a slashing call coming up here, and I believe it's on, I thought for a second UF. It's Connor Moriarty going in the box for the Owls. So I missed the play entirely. Moriarty did something along the lines of a slash out of my peripheral. Wonder if our production team caught that, the slash. Not sure where it was. Fair enough. Well, if you caught it at home, let us know. But Moriarty, regardless, has to sit. Now, this UF team is 1 for 5 on the man advantage, but they scored 5 seconds after the power play was up from Owen Farrick on a shot from the point. So what that means is that Florida had that possession in the attacking zone, and they took their last opportunity potentially on that forecheck and made the most of it. So this opportunistic Gator group against the team that's been all on their heels, but they've been doing stuff like this. Shorthanded, Carabello comes in. He gets hauled down in front by a defender in Aiden Riley to the applause of his Florida bench. Gators get some numbers up left wing. Nobody opposite wing. Farron gets it back. Give and go to the lower slot. Nice defensive play by Scott Herman to deflect the puck away. And from the half wall, it's dumped by Lozoritis. Gators reclaim it out of their own trapezoid up the right wing. Lozoritis in front of his bench. Handed off to Farrellick. No swap ends. Campagna tries to reverse field up the glass. Farrick will say it was out, and it was. And that means we'll get a face-off in the FAU zone. Some fresh lines coming out for the Gators. Barlett. We haven't said Barlett's name too much in this game, although he is one of our players to watch on Florida's side. Had a hat trick against Florida Tech a couple of weeks ago. Didn't play last weekend in their split with South Florida. He's a much-needed addition to a team that we mentioned hasn't scored a whole lot on the year, but he makes up top 5 in scoring with 13 points on the year, 7 goals, 6 assists for a transfer player from the Division II South Florida team. Spent 3 years there, 66 games all in all in AAU Division II, and before that at the time it was College Hockey South. 1 minute to go in the Connor Moriarty slashing penalty. Gators try to reclaim it over center. Renton skates deep. Chopped off by Watson. Swaps lanes with Stevens. Gets around Renzi. Has to retreat over the blue line. He's offside. FAU can't, or the Gators can't touch this puck. No, they say it was onside still. That puck surely looked like it was out. If that was so, the Gators would have had to touch up or tag up, meaning they'd have to retreat to the center zone before coming back in. Regardless, they'll dump it away as Cuccia and Campagna steal this puck away. 23 seconds to go. It looks like the Owls are back on a power play. Cuccia's here. The leading scorer gives it up for Watson. Backhands through the middle. Defensively, Weissman blocked it with his skate blade. This is a penalty kill for the Owls. They're making it look like a power play. 7 seconds left. Carabolo through the air. Azaretto with the deflection. And they're going to get a man out of the box. And Moriarty, he goes right off, replaced by Herman. The reverse field. What a penalty kill that time by the Owls to force the Gators to 1 for 6 on the night. Carabolo bumped off the puck. Herman's right there to clean up the dirty work. Comes right back out to the FAU zone where McMillan will play it. And now the FAU bench is up and cheering along. And I missed the infraction earlier, but we now have, because of, or there was a penalty, earlier on Bodie Duncan, but it was a little bit of open ice to work with. So apologies on that. I missed the penalty on UF, but this technically is a power play for FAU, albeit for not very long. It's over now. Duncan out of the box. Herman. I said Bodie, or yeah, Bodie Duncan. He's out anyway. FAU will update the power play numbers as they are. If that's the only power play FAU hasn't scored on. Regardless, here come the Gators in the slot area. Chopped around a couple of times. Bouncing puck carried by Watson. He's got the stretch pass. Drew Renzi all alone in. Renzi to the net. Over the head of Stenzel. He got a piece with the upper paddle. 1:08 to go in the period. Drew Renzi with a golden opportunity. And he's stymied by Stenzel. Now Herman chases Duncan to the opposite corner in his end. Falls to the ice. He's got help coming with Sam Watson. Pickpocketed by Farrick. Gives it to Bartlett. McMillan lost his stick for a moment. Got it back. Rothamich. Good job circling the left circle in his own net. He's got to rush to the way. Cuccia is calling for it. He's onside. Gives it up now. Cuccia waits. Dangles inside. Cuccia to the net. Score! Stuffed short side over the shoulder of Stenzel. And Christian Cuccia has his second goal of the night. With 36 seconds left, a nifty dangle hard to the net. Cuccia's 52nd point of this season, 20th goal for the Flemington, New Jersey native. A freshman that's been a breakout star. Wouldn't be surprised to see his name at Division II or even more than that next year. FAU's not done yet. Stenzel doesn't have grasp of the puck. Now it squirts out on his short side on the right pad. It's played up into the netting by the Gators, so it will force a face-off in their own zone with 21.7. And if you're talking about guys that have an opportunity to be a College Hockey South All-Star, I think Cuccia just solidified that mark. 16 points in his last 3 games. There's a shot from the top of the right circle off the blocker of Stenzel and wide. Rothamich chases Rosenthal. The Gators just trying to hold on as FAU is bearing down to them in the final minute of the second. Stolen, a Rosenthal break. Could lead to a stretch out, and a nice play made by Strum to negate that. Period is over, and through 40 minutes, FAU not only takes the lead back, they add a couple on there. Goals from 4 different Owls in Pecora, Rothamich, Watson, and Cuccia second lead the way. 5-2 as we hit the intermission report. We'll be back in 15 minutes for the conclusion of this one. You're watching Florida and FAU, a College Hockey South Division matchup here on Owl TV. As the buzzer sounds, both teams rejoin the fold, seeing an FAU commanding 5-2 advantage with 4 goals by the Owls off 4 different skaters in that period. Pecora, Rothamich, Watson, and Kuchia, who has his second of the night, and 16 points in his last 3 games. Last week's College Hockey South first star of the week, picking up where he left off. Devin Serra with you from Boca Ice Center here in Boca Raton. Penultimate series for the Gators, who find themselves in another deficit. It's been all or nothing for them this season. Before last week, where they split with South Florida, they had won 3 series outright against Florida Tech, North Florida, and Embry-Riddle, and then got swept handily by Tennessee and Florida State. And in this one, against a number 13 team in FAU, looking to climb the ranks, they're seeing all they can as they have had a tough time getting their forecheck going, but narrowly being outshot 24-22 officially. You got to remember, a lot of those have been quality chances by the Owls against Florida's stifled forecheck, which saw a goal, the only one of that period, on a tip from the point by Owen Farrick off of their failed power play. They're 1 for 6 on the night, as off the center ice draw, McMillan wants to glove this down and force a face-off. Florida's 1 for 6 on their power play. The Owls are 2 for 3 unofficially. Technically, they're perfect because there was a 15-second power play they had at the end of that second. It didn't go anywhere, but regardless, it means that against a team that's only allowed 1 power play goal on the score sheet, FAU has doubled that total against the Gators, 2 in this one. We've had 3 man advantage goals total of the 7. So here we go. Pecora chased to the half boards, rubbed off by Pecora. Campagna, the captain, is there. Gave it up to Duncan. Reverses field. Moriarty gave it back to the point. Trying to go D-to-D. Lope skates around that defender. Wants to pitch it lower. Through the legs of his intended man, in tight with it was Pecora. Barlett will smack it out over the blue line past the official, rather the linesman, who was inadvertently caught in the middle of that play. Stenzo doesn't like this as he had a man charging in. Some pushing, some shoving, no worse for wear. But for Florida Atlantic, sitting 11-5-2-0 on the year, they find themselves locked into the College Hockey South division, the College Hockey South tournament. Still up in the air whether they're going to be the 1 or the 2 seed, but if they take care of business tonight and against Embry-Riddle, they would lock up the number 1 seed and play the opposite division's lowest seed, that being possibly Alabama or Georgia. So you look at things, how they stymie out. 13th in the nation, FAU, with 6 teams locked in, as we're going to have a penalty coming up here. It seems to be on the Gators. And it's a trip. So here we go. FAU, that's been near perfect on that power play, gets an opportunity. The captain, Xavier Morris, was the man who tripped up the FAU skater along in front of the benches. And they're perfect. The 2 power play goals in this game come from Rothamich and Sam Watson. And Watson touches the puck there at his own left circle, tried to put it over center. And Drew Renzi skates alone. He'll go wide to the net with it. Weissman kept him to the outside, defended by Morton. Looking for his options, gives it back. The slap shot, or rather shot off the glove or mask of Stenzel. Kuchia gets it back. Give and go, look to the return one-timer feed. Got fluttered around a couple of times. Now back for Renzi. Looking at his options, looks right. Kuchia with 2 goals in this game. Puts in the middle. Rothamich off the right side of the goal. Stenzel sprawled out. Now Kuchia and Rothamich through the stick of Rothamich and out of the zone. As that one was just too much mustard to handle for a moment. They looked like they were going to have an opportunity short side against Stenzel, but they were foiled. And Renzi will carry it back. UF is back to the little box, penalty kill. Watson with Renzi. Puts it up the wall. Cuccia from low to high. Waits at this near half wall. Gives it for Campagne. Takes the shot off the blocker of Stenzo wide. Hitchcock up the near glass. Campagne pinned up against the opposite bench of UF. And Farrick is going to force a clear out to center. Cuccia tags up with a man at the blue line. They're going to go off and get the second unit on. And UF's defenseman, either forward, Kelly Barlett, will dump it down the length of the ice. And Barlett right now still without a point unofficially in this game. Lozeritis goes wide, puts it to the middle. Great stop by Stenzo. Looked to feed Aaron Lentz right on the doorstep, and Stenzo made the right pad save. Now Campagne winds up, roofed it high and into the netting. 2 for 4 goes FAU's man advantage. Before the power play got engaged, I was talking about the rankings. The top 10 looks like this: Columbia, Liberty, Rutgers, St. John Fisher, South Carolina, College Hockey South, #1 team in the North, Coastal Carolina, Rowan, Tennessee, Hobart, Stony Brook, Appalachian State, Fairfield, and then your Florida Atlantic Owls. And how the format works, there's 6 auto bids among the 6 conferences in Division III. All 6 of those winners get auto bids, regardless of if they're in the top 25 or top 12 that make it or not. Meaning you get 6 at-large bids, 6 at-large bids, and 6 conference championship auto bids. So for this FAU group, they're on the outside looking in. You're possibly looking at a scenario where you might have to just win your way into nationals in Jacksonville. So they're on the outside looking in. But some impressive wins here down the stretch. Demolishing Miami last week, both double-digit scores. And then taking care of business against some pretty good teams. USF earlier this year. Of course, North Florida they demolished as well. But it's those games against Florida State that stand out. That two-game loss to them. The first games of the semester, second semester when they return to Boca. 8-2 and 7-1. And because of how the point spread works, that sent them all the way from a top 10 spot to 15th. And since then, they've been able to climb back ever so steadily, albeit against a team that's not so doing good in the rankings in Miami. So not a whole lot of room for error, but this Florida team is ranked officially 27, so it would go a long way if they're able to finish this one off, still with a 3-goal lead, and then finish off this series tomorrow from Boca Ice Center. We'll have the call for you again there. Lozeritis gets taken down, and there's going to be another power play coming up for the Owls, as they got Jacob Centarlis shoving down Lentz into the bench area, or the half wall. And I presume this would be for either roughing or a cross check, and it is going to be for a rough. So send Santorlis to the box. FAU back to work. And if they can get this one, it might just be the closer. At the left wing, Renzi, another impressive face-off win. They've been doing that really well all game. Campagne, the captain, looks at his options. Watson, button hooks, heads back up ice. Cuccia, his opposite wing, takes a look. Funnels it deeper, give and go shot off the right of the goal. Bounces back to the Cuccia's possession from the point in. Campagne waits, left side. Banked off the end board for Renzi. He'll keep the play cycle from low to high. Cuccia through the middle. Campagne waits, gets foiled by Steffens, and the clear out by Nico Renton is successful, and they'll get the second penalty kill group on for the Gators. 1:10 to go, and FAU's 5th power play of the night. And earlier in the game, it wasn't looking like that very much. FAU took as many as 3 penalties in that first period, one of those a power play goal for the Gators. And they come back looking to tee up Rothamich in the middle, just too far away over the blue paint. Campagna gives it for Cuccia. Cuccia through the middle, backhands it, short side, they score! Renzi with the Gator chop celebration. 6-2, third power play goal of the day. And the fifth different Owl to score tonight. 3 for 5 on the man advantage, and that simply is what you have to do to take care of business. And Rosenthal having a conversation with Morton. Gators are going to huddle for just a moment, talk about things. As much as the shot totals say they're close, it's really been FAU with opportunities like that. And if you're the Gators, you just can't give up that many prime scoring opportunities to a very explosive FAU team that can score amongst all of their lines. So you mentioned 5 different goal scorers. They go right back to work. The Owls do out of their own zone. Scott Herman frees up some space. Taking up left wing on the rush. Looking for Andonovsky was the alternate captain, Herman. Into the legs of a Gator. Rosenthal lost handle of it for a moment. Rolls off his stick, given to Wiseman. Stolen away by Caraballo. Dump and chase to the half boards. 2 Owls against 1 Gator. Morton trying to keep this puck pinned up. Conero frees it. Short side saved by Stenzo. Herman is there. Kotze comes in to cut off the angle. Rubbed off and dumped away by Quinn Hitchcock. Right back in come the Owls. And again, just with that speed, Caraballo, he's been all over tonight. The Coral Springs, Florida defenseman. Still without a goal this year, but I know he's giddy. Just small guy, look out. Scary collision in front of his own bench. Hops right back up, lost his edge. See, I just mentioned how fast he was skating along up and down the ice, using all 200 feet of it. Bistro holds it for Winch. Once again, a scrum along the near boards ensues. Renzi kicks it. Morton slapped along. Stolen by Strum. Given up for a moment. Taken back by Lozeritis to the attacking zone. Renzi's pickpocketed. Winch, big hit in the slot. As Winch just laid out Carozo in front of his own blue line. Good to see Carozo bounce right up from that hit. It hasn't been the most physical game, but as of late, bodies are starting to spill over a little bit. So we have 12:02 to go in the third period. It's all FAU with a 6-2 advantage in the last deuce of goals. There's another FAU player that gets hauled down in front of the blue line. Bouncing back up, Buccigross, given back to the Gators. Skated by Morton. They'll leave it for Duncan. Controlled for a moment by Strum. We've got a whistle. And I believe they're going to send an FAU player. Carozo doesn't know what he did. We're waiting on a signal here. It's not Carozo. It's going to be Joseph Lozeritis. There was no signal of what the penalty exactly was. Usually when an announcer like I am in this position, you wait for sure to see what the signal is going to be with the hands. But sometimes the official, which the head official pointed towards the FAU bench and signaled with his left arm, a thumb behind his back saying, get out. So Lozeritis, for whatever reason, whether it's something he said or did, is going to sit, and it's a UF power play. They're 1 for 6 in this game. Or are they? I believe I'm wrong, and I am. Okay, so they put nothing on the board, but Lozeritis has to sit for something. So we stay 5-on-5. Got a little ahead of myself before I counted the number of FAU skaters. It's still 5-on-5. UF is still 1 for 6 in the power play, but they've got an attack going from the point. Shot saved by McMillan, and the rebound scores. Bodie Duncan on the short side. The Gators stuck with it and put it past the low blocker side. It's 6-3. So, after all of that, it's Bodie Duncan's 6th of the season in his 10th game. The player who didn't have a single goal last year, 5 points through 19 games, finds himself in a position where he's more than, well, I could have said quadrupled, but I mean, you do the math, 6-0. He's come alive this season, obviously. Here's a soft shot from the high slot by Watson into the pads and gobbled by Stenzo. But when you talk about diversity and things to take into tomorrow, it's still only a 3-goal game. So if you're FAU, you can't get too comfortable in this situation. But 10:49 to go, they've been controlling the pace of play, doing what they want in the attacking zone, and forcing the Gator forwards to dump the puck out and get in transition defensively. If you hold on for this one, you're looking at tomorrow a lot different roster for UF, which had as many as, well, 10-plus skaters out of this lineup that I could count. And shout out to the UF hockey social media for giving me some support with the roster, along with Steve K and assistant coach Michael Licata. Hope to meet Michael tomorrow. But the UF team that desperately needs something to go their way in this game. They've gotten the goal back to, or goal differential back to 3 from Bodie Duncan's 6th rather. I'm all over the place. This one is iced by the Gators back to their own zone with 9:58 to go in this one. Then in a game where you've had FAU sitting at that 3-for-5 clip, you just look at how you might say, well, Florida's opportunistic with the shots they're getting, but it's really FAU that's taking the most of their power play chances, forcing Stenzo to move, who, quite frankly, has had trouble tonight with the rebounds, and part of the reason why pucks have stayed alive. And just like that, a shot from the left circle bounces off his pads and kicks to the far corner. And the Gators try to get numbers to it, but McGuigan is just going to hound it off, and Strum in control. He'll go D-to-D out of his own zone. Forwarded to center ice. Carozzo skates around for a moment. Pickpocketed by Farrick. Comes Barlett. Farrick gets it ahead. Just too strong off of Barlett's stick. He gets slammed to the boards by McGuigan. Carozzo comes back in front of the penalty box stanchion. Now the Gators want to reset with Hitchcock. He's got Weissman opposite wing, chased by Carozzo. Forwards it ahead for Barlett, up left wing with Renzi. Barlett looks, takes a short side rock star shot, well wide of the goal, looking to go short side. Out of the trapezoid, he got it back. Barlett skates around one defender, gets stolen away. FAU with numbers coming the opposite way. Carozzo defended well, and the dump off the boards back to center. So Hitchcock and the Gators negate some scoring chances there. Scott Herman comes in to the fold at the half wall. Strum is there, collides with his own man McGuigan, but Carozzo's got the puck. He'll reverse wings. A chance up the left side for Drew Renzi. Has a goal in this game. We'll push it deeper. This way, McGuigan sidesteps a man, tries to shoulder him off the puck. Stevens helps out Hitchcock through his legs. Goes D-to-D. He'll chase it back for Owen Farrick. Checked that. Aiden Riley. And McGuigan. Soft clap out. And this is now where you kind of see how FAU's backing off a little bit. Just play in the neutral zone. Trying to force opportunities like that where Mistro, I'm surprised they didn't get him for icing right there. He dumped that puck in from his own blue line. That should have been an icing on the Gators. Nonetheless, they get it foiled again. It's FAU just getting to the pucks when they need to at the boards. They're forcing the Gator forwards to make decisions, and more times than not, they're coughing up the puck. Like this. Here comes FAU. An odd man rush if they hurry. 3-on-2. Rothamich drops it off through the middle. Renzi lopes. Couldn't get to it. from the point. Help coming. Rothmich knocked off the puck for a moment. Stevens gets it back now from the half boards. And stolen away. Out of the zone is Mistro. Mistro, look out. Shouldered by Renzies, is going off for a change. Here comes Lopes the other way. Shot blocked through the high slot. Campagna, the captain, back out there. Lopes sidesteps a man down to the ice. Pecora, he'll reverse. Attempted to put one on net from above the right dots. That one bounced off the backside of a Gator defender and out. As quickly it comes into the trapezoid of the Gators' end. Riley is there. Aaron Riley trying to take it away for a moment. He pins up Pecora up this near wing. He's got help coming, trying to fish it out as Watson. They'll hook it. They'll get an opportunity. Reverse field. A shot comes. Stenzel gobbles it up with no rebound and some shoving. Riley took exception. There was an extra whack on Stenzel in front of the goal. And now skating away from the play, Justin Lopes, who did a good job trying to get to the front of the net, but they're going to get Lopes for a penalty because of the extra shoves afterwards. But will he get a minor penalty? We saw this with Lozeritis. They will. It's going to be a cross-checking call, which is where the official puts both his fists in a pushing motion, upwards rather. But this looks like it's going to be offsetting penalties because they've got 2 on the board. So they're probably going to get Lopes and, I would imagine, Aaron Riley for Aiden Riley. Yep, so they are. So offsetting coincidentals for both teams. Riley and Lopes for that pushing and shoving in front of the net. The reason I mentioned they could have been a penalty was they motioned a cross-check on Lopes. But nonetheless, it's going to be a little bit of open ice. And if you're FAU, you have to say defensively sound. You don't want to give Gators a inopportune look at the net where they've been at times opportunistic. 6:08 to go, 137 on the 4-on-4. And here's an opportunity in front. McMillan calmly swallows and gloves it into himself. It's a dangerous opportunity. You've got 2 Gators players nearly all alone in front of the net. And McMillan gives up a rebound right there. Who knows where that bounce goes? Nonetheless, UF is going to send out their top line with Barlett and Farrick. FAU still trying to assess their personnel. They're going to take Watson off the ice. You've got Lentz, number 34, along with Campagna, Drew Renzi, regardless, face off to the left wing circle in the FAU zone. As this stoppage is taking quite a while, I'm not sure what for. Now the linesman will pick it up. Motion to drop it. Renzi, either side really won that. This one's carried in control by Aaron Lentz. He'll just dump it out. Give it right back to Duncan. He'll go D-to-D. Quinn Hitchcock, one of the 3 goal scorers in this game, had the tying goal middle part of the first on the power play. A highlight reel goal. Gator fans are looking for something positive right now. Hitchcock, another highlight reel move. Tried to get that to Farrick, and he got worked over. Defensive stand made by Renzi. And the opposite wing, left wing, chased in. Here comes Anthony Campagne. Giving up. Barlett out of his own zone. This one could have been dumped by the Gators. He'll go off for a change. 46 to go in the 4-on-4. Duncan with some open ice. Fed a man in the middle. McMillan's down. What a stop. McMillan with the glove. He's still down. A second opportunity in front. The side sprawl by McMillan. That might have been his best save of the game. Keeps this one. 3 scores the other way. Stenzel with the right pad. Aaron Lentz trying to bear down. Back and forth action. 4:54 to go. 22 in the 4-on-4. Renzi has it. Surveys his options. Stops on a dime. Waits around Duncan. Tried to tee up a man in the middle with Lentz, and a nice defensive play made by Farrick. 10 to go. Both Lopes, Justin Lopes, and Aiden Riley are going to be out of the box. We'll have back to 5-on-5. And Matthew McMillan hasn't been too busy as far as quality chances, but those are two marvelous stops. Going a little old school, full body sprawl to keep that one out of the net and keep this advantage at 3. Dump and chase goes Lopes out of the box with fresh legs. The Gators, as FAU is changing. Jung goes back out there. Collision at the far blue line. And in control of the Owls. They'll string it along. Forward and ahead, giving up. Weissman tried to slap it to the legs of Rothamich. Up the far boards, here's Morton. Tried to bank pass to himself around Herman. Scott Herman did a nice job, the Deerfield Beach, Florida native, to box him out of the puck. UF starting to make something of the end of this game. They're still down by a lot to the number 13 team in the nation. And still underway is the Division II Owls in Middle Tennessee, taking on Middle Tennessee, that being the number 1 team in the College Hockey South North Division. So you get a pair of number 1 teams in Division II going on. Check out FAU's Twitter, or X, along with their Instagram for updates. Here come the Gators out the right wing. That shot foiled easily and cleared. Solo man carrying along is Pecora. Stops on a dime, gives it up. Watson, golden opportunity, and he sprung a hit through Mistro, which knocked his path off the puck. Campagna with a collision at the far glass, and we get a stoppage of play. Both teams will make wholesale changes, 2:42 to go. Wasn't sure if that was an offside or a hand pass, but offside being that it would be against FAU. Regardless, this puck will be dropped. Where Watson is there against Bartlett. It's won by FAU. And a win tonight would put them at 12 on the year, sitting 11-5, 2-0 on the season, and 10 wins in College Hockey South. Connor Moriarty backhands it through Watson. One-timer scores! The captain, Campagne, a bullet from the high slot, 7-3. The 6th different FAU goal scorer tonight puts a cap on things. You can tell Campagne wanted to do that for a while. His 7th goal of the season. Setauket, New York native, the leader, the captain of this team. Told me before the season how much it meant to him to lead this inaugurated Division III squad, where Campagne, a player that spent time with Division II, played in the national tournament last year where FAU's Division II is there's a shot that knuckleballs to the upper chest protector and stopped by Stenzel. Played in that tournament well enough where he felt like there was some unfinished business as that Division II team came up short to Florida. Bitterly, I might add. As Florida moved up to Division I this year, and we get a stoppage of play in front. You know, Campagne just told me how this team wanted so badly to make a statement, show that they could compete at this level, this startup with a lot of young players. He could lead the way, train some guys. And with head coach Andrew Yagoda being advised with Christian Long, who's the head coach in his 2nd season with Division II, forming sort of a partnership here. Come lead the Division III team. And Campagne only being a junior, maybe next year you're looking at an opportunity to go back up to the Division II team or more. Regardless, they believe they have a national title contender here in Boca. It's going to take a little bit. They've got to get ready for a tournament coming up, but there's a short side save by McMillan. They did what they had to do tonight, despite giving up 6 penalties rather. And this is a power play for the Gators, who are 1 for 6. It's Connor Moriarty sitting. But 13th in the nation, you've got some teams playing this week and some College Hockey South teams. Depending on what happens in South Carolina, Tennessee, you've got teams like Rowan and Fairfield up in the air. A lot can happen within 2 weeks. So there's no reason to panic if you're an FAU fan of this squad. They certainly have the talent to do it. You obviously look at the penalties they've taken tonight and averaging second most in penalty minutes in College Hockey South. It's something that Andrew Yagoda has harped on me about. They've got to clean up. But 6 different goal scorers on 7 will do enough for you to win. As this one's safely gloved by McMillan as we wrap up things tomorrow. Reminder, the series continues on as Florida comes back to Boca. The Division III team back in action right here on Owl TV. You can catch us live for that one at 5:45 p.m. Eastern. Right here on your home for FAU hockey. Haven't seen an update yet on the Division II side of things, but playing at the Blue Raiders tonight. And it's a late puck drop, 9:45 p.m. Eastern from the Ford Ice Center in Antioch, Tennessee. Might want to stay up late, see if FAU can continue that 13-game win streak they're on. A short side chance saved by McMillan. Flipped out of the zone by the Owls. They've got 49 on the penalty kill, but 43 on the clock. So if this stands, this would just about do it for the game. FAU defending out of their own zone. Here comes Renton trying to get through one defender. Hobbles over a man in Herman, and it's dumped the length of the ice. UF did a good job keeping up with FAU for that first period. Had it not at 1. Quinn Hitchcock had a highlight reel goal, but after that, it was 3 unanswered by the Owls. And then after a goal by Farrick, 2 more. And that was just enough to put wraps on things. Nice stop by McMillan as we wrap up this one with 12.4 on the clock. So Florida Atlantic's going to go to 12-5, 2-0 on the year, 10-2, 0-0 in division play. They hold the number 1 spot in the South Division. And Florida, for now, looks like they're going to drop to 7-6, 0-0, 7-4-0 in division play, but hold their number 3 spot in the division. Very important as top 5 teams in both divisions make it to the College Hockey South tournament. But tonight, as one final shot from Herman deflected out of play by Hitchcock, they'll let the clock run out. The Owls, off the heels of a dominating performance against Miami, finish this one out with 3 power play goals from 3 different goal scorers and 6 different total. Cuccia with 2 goals tonight. Matthew McMillan, great down the stretch, looking at possibly 30-plus saves in this one. But it's all Owls as they win their 3rd straight and move on, holding their spot at the top of the College Hockey South Division. Teams will gather at center for the handshake, and we'll do it all tomorrow. 5:45 p.m. Eastern. Puck drop right back here in Boca Ice Center. I'll be on the call with you. Great job by our entire production team. Mitch working the remote camera down low. It looked great all night long. And fans, we hope you like that new score bug we got in the left corner. I think it's slick. And so does our production team. So for all of us here at Owl TV, final score tonight, 7-3. Off the backs of 3 power play goals, FAU finishes off the Gators in the first of this penultimate series on the season. 7-3. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Owl TV. Thank you for watching this presentation, and have a great night.